and there's also another character called Ben. He's a gambler. Those are just two. There's six characters altogether, and Ray calls them the Sinful Six. So with the two which I just mentioned, Ray's parents, one of them was a gambler, and one of them was kind of did things which he shouldn't do, and it upset Ray. And he's kind of taken his revenge out now as he's grown up, and going after people who he sees as a mirror image of his parents. So it's kind of a villain with reason, if you like.
Okay. Just basically what you just said, it sounds to me like it's kind of a mixture of that series that was out a little while ago, Dexter, mixed with that Alfred Hitchcock's American Psycho. So it's kind of in that realm. Like, is that where you drew a lot of the inspiration to the character, or is that come from somewhere else, you think?
I guess with Dexter, to be honest with you, I've never watched Dexter.
I'll be honest, I haven't either. Just from what just from what I've heard about it, it kind of sounds similar to what you're saying your character is.
I guess without seeing the series, but from what you've just said, I can kind of say yes. But also, another big part of kind of my inspiration comes from John Kramer from Saw, the movie series. I like the way in which he kind of goes after people who have done wrong things or who don't value their life, and he gives this little explanation as why you don't value life. The character argues back, but then before you know it, they're caught in a trap, and the only way out is to do horrible things. And that's kind of also what Ray does as well. He asks the questions kind of like, you're a bad person, but I'll give you a chance. If you don't survive, then, well, bad things are going to happen. So he gives the characters a chance. Whether they survive, you'll have to read the book.
Right.
But, so I guess my main influence, character-wise, does come from John Kramer, and also a little bit from Hannibal Lecter as well. I find him a fascinating character to, watch on the movies.
Okay, very nice, very nice. I see. So, how long have you been, not just this piece altogether, though, how long have you been writing?
How long have I been writing? Well, to be honest with you, it's just, this is the only kind of part of my life where I've decided to write over the last 3 years. This is it for me. When I was working at a place which I've left now, they decided that involuntary redundancy was on the cards. I took a year off, and I decided to knuckle down and get a lot of the book done. And it's kind of, like I say, my characters have forever been evolving, and now it's 3 years later, so it's nearly all done. I'm still working on certain aspects and parts of the book to make it a better experience for the readers, trying to add in more excitement, more thrills, more things which you won't see coming. But regarding how long I've been writing, it's just over the last 3 years. I've bought quite a lot of books of kind of phrase books, how to write dark scenes, how to write scary scenes, and I've learned so much from them. So it's not always been about writing, it's been about learning and writing at the same time. So yeah, it's been over the last 3 years which I've been doing it. I've still got things which I need to learn, and again, things which I still need to write. So at the end of the year, the book should be done, fingers crossed. It should all be done. So I've never really wrote about anything before up until 3 years ago. I used to enjoy art. I used to draw a little bit. So there's always been a bit of creativity inside me, but it isn't until that incident happened to me and I decided to fight back against that because I was suffering, and I said enough is enough. It's just basically been over the last 3 years which it's really kind of taken off, and still learning things, and I think with writing it's forever going to be a learning curve, even for the most professional writers. I think they're still probably learning, but it's only to enhance the reader's perspective.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. I agree that you always with most fields, especially the art fields, you're constantly learning. No one knows everything, and there's generally not just one way to do it. You know, whether writing
Yeah,
or sculpting or painting or art, there's generally just not one right way. There's a number of ways, and I know I watch series sometimes, and they'll tell you stories about the same three directors. You take three different directors and give them the same story premise, and then they'll all go in different ways with it. So
yeah.
it's definitely again not with writing and the arts, not one right way to do it.
Mm.
But for you, it's more and more about it's been not just about getting the book done, but it's also been about the journey of learning the experience and learning the writings right, as well,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, that's right. It's in particular, I'll go back to my editor. You know, she's taught me so much. I used to be um, very bad for repeating things, and she'd always point it out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the her work, what she helps me with, is just absolutely second to none. And for her to point these things out and highlight these things, I have to admit, has been a real eye opener for me. Um, but again, I've learned so much from it, and my mistakes now are much less than what they were back like 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago when I first met my editor.
Right.
But it's just also helpful having people review my work, where there's a number of chapters on writerscafe.org, to get their kind of input, and for them to talk to me via the messaging service on that site, to hear what like they have to say, because some of them are very good writers on there.
Right.
So to be able to get the input off them, and I can go back and think, well, yeah, okay, they're right on that. So I can kind of fix things up a bit to make it look tighter, to make it look better, to again give the reader a better reading experience. So all these people, they all play their parts in many different ways, and I'm so thankful for the people, for the books which I've got, and also for the support which I have via Writers Cafe and Instagram now.
Okay.
It helps me become a better writer, and to give those readers a better experience of what they're going to read when the book is released.
Awesome. Awesome. So with that, I actually have two more questions. One, um, with the book being released soon, hopefully, is this going to be part of a series? Will we be hearing more from Wade Pendleton? Of course, Gordon, we don't even know what we're going to see yet, but after it comes out, what's your next idea with that? And two, you keep mentioning Writers Cafe. What is that?
It's a place where writers can go and upload their work, and then other writers can read their work, and they can review it. I used to review quite a lot on there, and basically it can give the writer a better idea of like where they're going wrong, or give them their strong points, and say how to kind of make that point better,
Mm-hmm.
or if they point out their weaknesses, and say, right, okay, well, if you just flip it around and try this or try that, then your writing will kind of improve. So it's kind of like a review site. You put your work up, other writers look at it, and then they say, well, it's good job or bad job or whatever. So it's kind of you're putting yourself up there and basically seeing what comments people come back with, and then you take it from there to see whether you can improve your writing. So it's generally a review site. There's some great writers there. I've stayed in touch with quite a few of them, and again, they help me, I help them, etc., etc. And then you just see, kind of with a few people which I've mentored over the years, you see the improvements to their work. But regarding coming back to Unmasking the Insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Will it become a series? I hope so. I
Okay.
really hope so. If people like what they read when the book is finally released, or the tidbits which I'm giving them now,
Right.
and if they want more, then I do have an idea for the second book in mind. So that's kind of already going around in my mind at the moment. And speaking to my wife, I've said to her, what do you think I should do for the second book? And she's kind of given me some good ideas as well. So we'll wait and see, I guess. I hope that my book becomes a successful book, and I hope the public like what they read. So far, it all seems positive, so I'm happy. And if I make the people happy or wanting more, then that's great. I'm happy. I'm very happy for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what we hope for. We hope to see good things from you. We hope to see more from Ray Pendleton and Unmasking the Insanity after, again, we see the initial book so we know what we're getting into exactly. We're looking forward to that ride. Now, so you've only been writing for a few years now,
Yep.
and you haven't actually gone to a actual, like, university or anything for writing. It's just kind of something you decided to pick up along the way. So with
Yeah.
that, even and I think early in this interview, you said that you had or you are in the process of working on some other things outside of writing. So you're not a full-time writer.
No, not a full-time writer as yet.
Oh,
Excuse me.
uh huh.
Um, it's what I want to do.
Mhm.
I basically want to give the world something, what Ray Pendleton, because I believe that, we've had our Freddy Krueger's, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, brilliant characters. I can't wait till October comes along for the next Halloween. But I believe that there's also kind of a gap now where um, I believe Ray Pendleton could fit in.
Right.
I want to give my character to the world, and hopefully they will like the character because Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, yeah, they're great stories, and it's thrilling for the viewers to see, and that's the same type of character which I want to give back. I'm trying to create a new character where I believe there might just be a gap in the market for my character to come into,
Mhm.
and for some people to talk about. So that's why I'm doing it, to give something back, to try and get people interested in another character.
All right. Yeah, and we hope that Ray Pendleton does become that type of Voorhees and
Yeah,
Freddy Krueger type of character. I
yeah.
did have a question though. What is it other that you do outside of writing to help fund for this story?
I like watching The Blacklist. I
Hmm.
like watching The Blacklist. Person of Interest, which I miss tremendously. I think it's a great television show. I like watching tennis, darts, Formula One, and basically having quality time with the wife,
Right.
um, and playing on the cats
Hmm.
because they're quite comical,
Hmm.
um, and chilling, and again just reading books, kind of taking myself out of reality and going into a virtual world and trying to kind of just grab some ideas from there as well and twist it around and turn it into mine. So I don't really watch much television, but when I do, it'll be a series, as I've just said,
Right.
like The Blacklist or Person of Interest.
Hmm.
So that's what I do to chill out.
Right. And what do you?
And of course, watching horror movies.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what do you do also in addition to writing now, because that's become part of your career rise or
Career-wise,
vocation?
um, I'm working at a place now with a great bunch of lads. I don't know whether they're listening or in at the moment, but hi guys, if you are.
I
Um,
hope that you invited them to listen.
they weren't invited. I don't know
Yeah.
whether they're listening or not.
Okay. Well, we hope that they
But I
are.
work with a great bunch of guys. I used to drive a fork truck
Okay.
many years back, but now I'm working with these guys, and I'm just in a warehouse at the
Okay.
moment, and it's nothing great. But what makes the place really good is the lads.
Right.
Um, the lads are just tremendous. They're kind of they're really friendly. and they've made me